Okay, here we are. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Lighting's not so good, but I can fix that. Move over a little bit. Got my coffee. Oh man, that's good. Good coffee. I have to move. I don't like this lighting here. It's really bad. The lighting is bad. Bad. Let me show you around here first. Let me do this here. There we go. You got an outdoor seating area right here. You got a little place, you can barely see it, the gray wall there. You can go outside and go into a little room there. I'll walk around in a few minutes. And then they got a nice garden out here. Sawadee Cup, everybody. Sawadee Cup. Let me get situated here. I thought I was situated, but I don't think I am. Let me see if I can do it here. It's a little better. This is better. Lighting's a little better, even though there's some on my head. It's okay. Nobody cares. Nobody cares what I look like. I don't look like a beautiful fellow. Good morning, everybody. Sawadee Cup. Just take my time here. I'm loving this coffee here. Their coffee is very, very good. Mr. Mitch, how you doing? How's it going there in Pattaya, or wherever you are? Johnny, Daniel, Christian, Random. Good morning, everybody. It is a lovely day out, albeit a little bit hot, but beautiful skies. However, there is a heavy rain warning for later tonight. There's supposed to be a big storm coming in. We'll see about that. But currently, 87 degrees Fahrenheit, 94 is the high. The low is 81, and right now the feel-like temperature is 94. It was 8 o'clock in the morning, and it's 92 degrees. The feel-like temperature. So it is very warm, but it is a beautiful day out, and the air quality is moderate, a low moderate at 54. 68% humidity, so not too bad. There's a bit of wind, 7.5 miles to the north. Like I said, heavy rain warning. And the BOT currently is at 34.26, or last I looked about 20 minutes ago. So today we are in the Now Cafe. It's called the Now Cafe. And why I came here, I don't know. I'm always looking around for new cafes, new coffee shops. And most of the ones that I think are really, really good, they're not even good enough for me. Most of them are a little bit far away. And they're not really good enough to say, I'm going to make a trip there just for their coffee. I thought about going to Sarni's, making the 2Q Asia very happy, going to Sarni's and getting some of their good coffee, because they do have some good coffee, but I thought it's a bit of a haul to get over there. And then they are expensive. They're pricey. Now this place is what you would call a new hipster type cafe. That's what it's viewed as by the media. The name of the place is the Now Cafe. It's on Patanakan 56, which you just look for the Stories restaurant, and it's right next door. Or you can look up Patanakan 56, and it's pretty easy to get to. From my house, it was pretty easy from just about anywhere. It's kind of on the way to the airport. So, and it is a place that gets very busy. I was the first person here, or at least I was the only person here for a while. And then since then, there's probably been about 10 people that have come in. And as the morning progresses, it'll get more busy. This is, I don't know, I mean, it's right off of a main road. It's not like people can kind of walk here. They have to park in a parking lot, kind of like the coffee shop that I took you guys to out in, I don't know, it was a ways from here, and I went to go get a jab, and it was a great, all right, Johnny, well, you gotta let her have this shirt. If you can't give your wife the shirt off your back, then don't expect her to. Anyway, this place is open from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. So, you know, if you happen to be in the neighborhood, it's worth a stop. It's a nice place. I like the building. You know, it's all red brick, and it's nice. It's nicely decorated. I like this place, and the coffee is really good. The other day, Mr. Andy and Mr. Dowlow and I went to Everyday Coffee. The name of the place was Everyday Coffee, and I would say it's about as everyday as an office coffee as you can get. This place is about 2 cuts above, in my opinion. This place is almost, I would, maybe if I was with a buddy or something and we wanted to meet up somewhere in this area, or well, I would meet here. It's that good. They're very classy place. There's only 2 guys working here right now, but as it gets busier, there's going to be more people coming in. I think I said that they've been open 4 years now. It's a very nice place. And no, they didn't give me free coffee or anything like that. I'm not sponsored by them. I'm just saying nice things because I believe it's a nice place. And they have some nice little desserts, though. And, you know, I'm staying away from the desserts. So, you know, I try not to look at them. But they do have some good desserts. They've got some different kinds of croissants. They've got a little orange cake. They've got some muffins. You know, they got the usual stuff. I don't know how good it is, but it looks good. And I'm actually having a piccolo this morning. I had an espresso already. Now I'm having a piccolo. A piccolo is basically a ristretto with a little bit of milk foam. So that's what's going on. They have all that kind of stuff. Plus they have little sandwiches. They do have Avion water, which I just refuse to buy. I won't buy that water. I'm not that well off to where I'm like, you know what? I don't care. I'll pay $2 here for, or whatever it is, $1.70 for a bottle of water here. I don't know. I'm just not that cool. If I really wanted to, I could and would, but I don't need water that bad because they give me the free stuff, which is hopefully out of some filtered thing or whatever. But anyway, so we got a bunch of little things to talk about. One big thing, which is the factors most expats want, need, and think about. And I was having a conversation with none other than Mr. Jono yesterday, and we were talking about the 3 basic needs for expats moving over here, or really moving anywhere. And we came up with 3 real quick, but there are, I don't know how many I counted off here, but there might be 10 or 12 things to really think about before you move over here. And I thought to myself, man, I didn't do any of these. I just thought, do I have money? Yeah, okay. Do I care? I mean, that I really don't know the culture all that much when I moved here? No, because I knew I would learn. But, you know, choosing the right destination, whether it's Thailand or Ecuador, Portugal, Albania, wherever it might be, Mexico, you know, like I said, it can be as easy as you want it to be. If you want it to be easy, make sure you got plenty of cash, get a ticket, and get on down the road to wherever it is where you want to go. and then just, you know, be prepared to spend a little bit more than you should in the beginning, and then eventually, hopefully, you'll learn, assuming your brain functions. And there's a lot of things that, you know, if you really want to look at things like, is this place here's the thing that I was really thinking about. Obviously, now I'm 60 years old. I moved over here at 38, or 32, excuse me. I moved over here at 32. I started coming here around when I was 31. And it kind of blended together. I just kind of moved here. But good morning, Mr. Gennaro. How you doing? And well, back then there was, you know, like I've said it many times. I don't want to go on and on about it, but the internet was not that developed as far as the travel system and travel network and travel information, all that goes. It wasn't that developed yet. You're talking about Prodigy and AOL days when I came over here. I'll give you an example. My computer that I had, the processor speed was 166. So very, very slow. We were using a dial-up. Anyway, if I was to come over now versus then, the only difference being, say, my age. Would I come over here now, single with 10 grand at 60? That would be tough, because I have more needs now than I had when I was younger. When I was younger, I didn't care. You come over and you're like, hey, if I gotta go home, okay, no problem, you know, I'll start over again. I felt I was kind of young enough, had some money in the bank. Now, I don't think the same way. And the reason I'm bringing this up, not only because our conversation, John and I's conversation, caused me to think a little bit more about this, but also because we are traveling abroad. As I've been saying, we did buy the tickets. We are on, as long as, you know, it's going to be an epic journey. But one of the things that I really want to do is, and I've said this many times, if you're going to come to Thailand, okay, if you got a company that's willing to front all the money, or you got plenty of dough where you can learn on the job, and if you piss away way too much money, it's not going to hurt that much. But if you're coming and you're some like 22-year-old kid, 24-year-old kid, well, you're probably going to be able to live on the cheap, but only for a certain period of time. Then that's why so many guys end up going back. All these travelers, they come, oh man, I've been living in Thailand for 6 months. And then after another 3 months or a year, they're gone, you know, whatever it is, because maybe they don't want to live here all their life. I didn't know. So there are some things to think about. I didn't think about anything. I'm sure Gennaro coming over here, being a retiree soon, and some of the other people, Soy Dog Cowboy, and 2QA, and everybody else who basically is planning maybe at some point on moving here. So there's, like I said, there's you can make it as difficult or as easy as you want, but basically it comes down to one thing: money. You better have the money. If you're not gonna, if you're somebody who's not the sharpest knife, you haven't had a lot of travel experience, you might want to plan on spending extra money, because you gotta find, it's just, you know, if I go somewhere, I always know, maybe in the beginning I'm gonna spend, I don't know how much, 25, 50% more than I would if I lived there, or if I had gotten to know the place quite well. So, all right, congratulations. Happy birthday, happy anniversary to you. So today we're going to explore some of the things that expats, as I said, want, need, and think about. And also, you know, we go over every so often the popular destinations for expats. And I was talking about it yesterday, but Vietnam is way down on the list now because they have no retirement visa, which makes it very difficult to do one thing that's necessary if you're going to live here long term. I'm not talking about some young guy. You're going, man, I'm going around the world. I might just live in Vietnam for a while. You know, I'm not talking about that. That's a traveler. I'm talking about a true expat, someone who actually wants to move here. The number one thing is to know that you're secure living here. And I don't mean like, okay, obviously, unless you're someone who has a death wish, or you are a photojournalist, or you're a journalist, or whatever it might be, somebody's sending you to cover something, you're not going to stay in a war zone because it's not safe, it's not secure. Well, let's just get that out of the way. But when I say secure, I mean the crime rate, I mean the government, I mean the political stability or instability. I mean the way that the people act towards you because you are from a different place. And in Thailand, things are pretty good when it comes to the people. I've been talking about this. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I'm trying to stick with this so I don't lose my train of thought. So good morning, everybody. But the political climate is something that people sometimes they don't really think about because it changes over time. So like today things can be good, but somebody's planning on moving here, they move here and a month later there's some kind of political unrest and they're recommended not to go here and not to go there, and then they're scared and they're wondering, oh, is it okay for me to go out? And they don't know. So the security of not just being thrown out, which is why Vietnam, and this is why I brought it up, in Vietnam, you don't have a retirement visa. Imagine you go over there, you're living off of tourist visas, and you're going in and out of the country, doing whatever you got to do, and you've got yourself a girlfriend, 2-3 years, you might even marry the girl, you're thinking, oh, we have such a great life here, and you've got a house full of stuff, and you're set there, you're an expat. And then the government just says, oh, well, sorry, but now tourist visas, you can only have 2 in a year for 3 months. And you're like, okay, so what am I supposed to do? I'm living part-time here, part-time elsewhere. Not everybody wants to do that. So for a long-term solution, Vietnam is not the greatest because you don't even know if you can stay year to year. Now, sometimes things happen, sometimes they don't. But if you're stuck there and you're going, okay, so now what am I going to do? I'm paying the rent on a place, and it can happen. So I think that's something that, and security as in, relatively crime-free, which in Thailand, if you don't have you don't take an aggressive posture and you tend to ambulance. You don't have an aggressive posture here, and you tend to not have the us versus them mentality all the time. The way that I got over that for me, and I mean, I still think it's sometimes like, wow, it sure seems like it's us versus them. But most of the time, the way that I think about it is I think, here's this guy, he's 25. He is almost the same as like my son. I look at him and I go, oh, he's telling me this, whatever he's doing, whatever he's not doing, whatever great service, bad service he's providing, I always think, I relate it to, oh, well, I've got my wife's brother is like that. He reminds me of my wife's brother, or it reminds me of my kid, or something like that. Like I'll have some, I'll sitting on the boat sometimes. It's happened a couple of times, and I'm just sitting there, and most of the time it's when I bring my camera with me. But some kid will come up to me, and I mean, I'm talking kid, I'm talking like 17, 18, maybe 20 years old. Hey, how are you? And I'm thinking in my head, what's the deal with this guy? But I want to be friendly, and I think, well, imagine my kid, he speaks English, so every time that he meets up with somebody who's a foreigner, he talks to them. And I'm just thinking, you don't view it as us versus them, and you won't have very many problems when it comes to assault and that kind of thing. You won't have many of the problems, and if you don't get plastered and make an ass out of yourself somewhere and get aggressive or raise your voice, most of the time you're not going to have any problems here. So that's why Thailand is a good place for that. The other thing, one of the big concerns, especially if you're older, is the medical care. Access to quality health care and quality and affordable health care. And that takes a bit of research. I still don't know about the health care in Portugal, which is one of the places that is always popping up on lists of best places to live for an expat. Same with Ecuador. Now, I know in Ecuador the healthcare is quite good. I know in Thailand the healthcare is quite good. Cambodia, it's lacking, but getting better. It's improved. So, if you're somebody who needs healthcare, then definitely it's something that you're going to need to look into and do your research with. Let me read some of these here. Cry freedom, 38 years is a long sentence, but you've earned every stinking penny, but the juice was worth the squeeze. Hello there, hello there. Hello, mates. Gennaro, can you sell your book like the old days? All right, I don't know. Anyway, listen, before I go on, before I just keep blathering on, remember to leave a thumbs up, please. Subscribe, all that good stuff. Check the description down below. Read up. Check my website at americaninbangkok.com. There is a list out. It just apparently came out, I don't know, a week or so ago, of the best and worst places. The best and worst places for expats to get started. And I kind of was surprised at this list, but then again, this does not necessarily factor in living on a budget. These are not places where, this list is not comprised of places where they just go, okay, well, you've got a really tight budget, which are the best and worst places? That's not what this is. This is just the best and worst places for expats. So this is assuming you have some money. I'm just gonna go from 10 down to 1 first, and then I'll go into the rest of them. Number 10 is Canada. Number 9 is Kenya. Number 8 is Qatar. Number 7 is Saudi Arabia. Oof, I don't know about that one, but I've only been there once, and it wasn't for long. Number 6, Indonesia. I like Indonesia, but I don't know that it's one of the best places to move. I thought it was quite difficult from what I've been told from people who live there. It was a pain in the neck to live there and get your visa and all that other kind of stuff. Number 5 is Oman. Number 4, Estonia. Number 3, which is number 1 in Southeast Asia, number 1 in Asia, Singapore. Number 2, United Arab Emirates. And number 1, Bahrain. I don't know, but it surprises me. No, I haven't been there, but that's the way it goes. All right, number 11 is Mexico. Number 12, which is number 2 in Asia, is Malaysia. Thailand is number 18, which is 3rd in Asia. The bottom 10, there was 52 people, 52 countries rather. Number 52 was Germany. For the worst, it was the worst place to get started. Number 51, Japan. Number 50, China. Number 49, Kuwait. Number 48, Italy. Number 47, Greece. Number 46, Vietnam. Number 45, Czech Republic. Number 44, France. Number 43, Malta. So that's the bottom 10. It actually says Ireland is number 41, which is like the 12th worst. That kind of surprises me. Well, that doesn't surprise me. That is one of the things about, oops, what is going on here? It helps if you don't have your mouse backwards. There are numerous places that the healthcare, first of all, healthcare is going to be better just about everywhere in the United States as far as the cost goes. Quality of care is very good, but at what cost do you get that care? There are other places that you can get great medical care. And Europe tends to be a place that a lot of people like to go because it's fairly modern in most areas. It's got that rich culture, and medical care is pretty good. High quality of life. Some of the places in Europe that are Portugal, as I said, very well known as an expat destination now. And I'm anxious to see just how affordable it is, what's the vibe, and also what is there to do there. And you know, it's hard to gauge from what amounts to 7 or 8 days there. It's kind of hard to gauge all that in one little trip. But if I really liked it, if I got a great feeling from it, then you go again. And there have been places, Vietnam being one of them, where I really liked it, and I do like it. But when I went there the first time, I was like, wow. Second time I went there, it was like, Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh, too busy. I just couldn't live here. They're even busier than like the area near my house. And I'm like, it's too much already. Now that's just me, but you know, isn't that what it's about? You want to move to a place, it's about you and what you feel comfortable with. Spain and Switzerland are a couple of other places. I mean, we know there, even France, although it ranks fairly low, it's a place where a lot of people want to move. Greece. It used to be that people had the dream of moving to the Greek islands. Albania. And here we are in Asia. Even though Japan is difficult to assimilate into and to get into, Japan is a top destination for expats who are professionals. They work in engineering, finance, healthcare, and there is a high standard of living. I love Japan. I don't know that it would be the greatest place to live, and it's too bad Tokyo Sam is not here. He's doing it his way over there, and as far as I know, he likes his life there, you know. But I think he's part Japanese. So another place, Singapore. A lot of people like to go to Singapore because of the education system, the healthcare, and you know, it is cosmopolitan. And then of course Thailand. We got Thailand. So we got all these places: Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, well-known expat destinations. But let's get back to what we were talking about, which is the factors. One of the other factors is the transportation system. If you're going to live in the city or you're going to live in the village, you need to make sure you can get around. That doesn't always mean you want to buy a car, you need to get a motorcycle. Sometimes, you know, if you just got a motorcycle, you're living in a village, that's not going to cut it when you want to go cross country to do something, or you need to do something. So what kind of transportation system is available? And in Bangkok, if you want to talk about Thailand, in Bangkok, obviously the transportation system it ranks high in the world. I'd say it's one of the best transportation systems in Bangkok, and then in the rest of the country, it's pretty good. If you want to get around and you don't want to, I mean, I don't want to buy a car now. Why? It's an extra expense. If I need a car, I can just rent one. I just call somebody up, boom. I mean, if I really want, I could do my own, you know, grab drive, or I could get somebody as a driver. I mean, you know, you can always do these kind of things. So the transportation system is quite good, or you could just get yourself a car, get yourself a truck. Hey, Patia Bob, delivery comes in tomorrow for his electric car, the Volt car. And it looks like a little Mr. Bean car. It's actually really cool. And when I go there to Pattaya in the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna go stop in there and maybe we'll have a little drive around with Pattaya Bob, go check his little vehicle out. It might be quite nice. Air quality is 54 today, moderate. Now something else, and this kind of goes without saying, kind of goes without saying, but when I was speaking with Jono, we said security, healthcare, and let me think if I can remember. Security, healthcare, and something else. Security, healthcare. I think it was security, healthcare, and the cost of living. That's what it was. So those were the three things we said were the most important. However, one of the most important, I mean, it might even be the most important simply because without it, you can't really stay here long term if you want to become an expat, and that is, whether it's here or somewhere else, that is your visa. Yeah, well, I mean, you don't have to have a huge amount of finances, but you better have the visa, and you better qualify, and you better do everything right. Because without the visa, it doesn't matter how much money you have. Now, generally, if you got the money, you got the visa. That's pretty much how it works. But some countries are more difficult than others. Some people think this place is really difficult. I don't think it's all that difficult. I do think there could be some things they could change. But you know, it is what it is. So it's important to do some research. You know, for some people, listen, if you're 66 years old and you go, that's it, I'm done. You know, the wife's gone, I'm alone, I love Thailand, I'm moving to Thailand, and you're 66 and you got some money, just pay for an elite visa. I mean, you know, if you want to do it that way. This is the best coffee I've had, honestly, in quite some time. Very, very good. So the visa, you know, that has a huge impact. Now, obviously, when I say finance, I don't only mean you've got to have your budget in order. You've got to know how to live within your means. You need to know how much money you're going to need. You need to know exactly what you're going to spend every month, and you know, is it feasible? But I'm also referring to the financial system. Like in some places, the banks are not all that great, and it takes forever. That Piccolo was fantastic. And I don't usually have milk on my coffee, but I just thought I'd make a little change today. Because I asked him, do you have a ristretto? Can you make me a ristretto? No, cannot. But a Piccolo is a ristretto with milk on top. So this is something that eventually one day I may do it, whether it's online or not. And that is, I may take some kind of a barista class just for my own, just because I like coffee. I think it's interesting. So anyway, with the visas, you know, you better do your research. I know in some countries it's very easy. It's really, and it's not for all that much money. There's places you can retire. You got $1,000 a month, and you show you got that coming in from like a pension or something. You're in. That's it. You can get permanent residency. I think it's $1,200 in Ecuador. I don't remember, and I've been meaning to get a hold of my buddy, but he's very, very busy because his the film festival, Palm Springs, that is out in Palm Springs, the American Documentary and Animation Film Festival, starts, I believe it's on Friday, and then goes on until I think the next Sunday, or the next Friday, I'm not sure. So he's busy at work with that, but I'd like to have him online at some point, and he can talk about Ecuador. And then, of course, I'll be in Ecuador soon. So, and I'm anxious to see about their financial system there. You know, in Thailand, man, when it comes to transportation and their financial system and the way of doing business and making payments here, they have made it so easy. For the most part, they really, really have made it easy. I mean, if I come here and if I want to spend cash, I spend cash. If I want to pay with a credit card, I pay with a credit card. If I want to pay with a QR, with a scan, I can do that. If I want to transfer money to some drug, I can do that. I think really, now granted, I haven't been living in other places. You know, I've been visiting other places, so, you know, I haven't really needed to pay in multiple different ways, or haven't got a real feel for the system in most places. But I know that Hong Kong is probably the only place where paying for things was so easy. I don't know how Singapore is now, because it's been probably 12 years since I've been to Singapore now. It's been a while. Time just flies by. Anyway, one of the other things is the online services. How is the internet? That's very important. Is it stable? Is it fast? Do you have access to 4G, 5G? Is the coverage good all over the country? Here in Thailand, it's great. There's nothing I can say bad about the internet here. About the only thing that I don't particularly like about my home internet is that I still have home internet, and I'm using True for my home internet. Now, when both of my kids are completely out of the house, maybe my wife and I will just connect up to some little SIM card that we have at home. I don't know, or some little mini router or something that we both use, and I don't know how we'll do it, but I don't really want to, I don't know that we need it, actually, because we all have our own internet on our phones, and we can use it to connect up to whatever we want, to our laptops or whatever. So, but here in Thailand, yeah, the internet service is quite good and quite inexpensive, and I've been looking into SIM cards for when I travel around, and also eSIMs and roaming on my own phone, and which is good for which area. And there are some places that are just ridiculous. There are some places where the price is quite reasonable, which the UK, it's actually very reasonable. And this place is starting to pick up. I'm the only man in this place. Place is frequented by lots of women, so there you go. Anyway, you know, you better check up before you go to a country. If you really need fast internet, you ought to check and see just how good the internet is, and you can find that out relatively easily. How comfortable are we using a credit at most establishments? Very comfortable. No problem at all. In fact, I'd have more of an issue using my card online than I would at a vendor. Because with the vendors, you can always go back and, you know, you can tell, like, well, this guy's been here forever. He's not leaving. He's not going to run out. I mean, and then if he's going to run out, what's he going to run out on, $50? That doesn't make sense, you know. Granted, he could, you know, take a day or two or a couple of days, whatever it is, and get all the credit card numbers and do whatever he wants, but that wouldn't be very smart, and he wouldn't last very long, and I just don't worry about it. Now, of course, one of the most important things, and this goes hand in hand with the financial system and payment methods and everything else, and that is the overall cost of living, because obviously it can vary from country to country. I don't know. I don't remember how much. I've looked, Christian, for it was something. I don't know. It was like 15,000 baht, but I looked a while ago. I don't even remember what kind of course it was. But I want to do one that's quite good, and just like I'd want to do a language course. I've been thinking about taking a language course again to improve I really have wanted to at least get my high school language certification, to say that my language skills are at the high school level, because now they're about 4th grade level. So I want to do that, and I want to do the barista thing. At some point, that's kind of what I want to do. As I also do want to go back into the boxing gym and train and, you know, do all kinds of... Take a course in Aussie. Yeah, it probably cost me an arm and a leg, man. I'm sure it would be really good, though, because I know that there's a lot of availability of great coffees there. My friend in Oz was just telling me the other day, my friend Steve was telling me, oh, now we have so many options here. He's like, I can't believe it. I've got great coffee, you know. But man, I'm telling you, the coffee at this place is really good. I'm a bit surprised how good it is. You know, really, it really, really is good. So you know, the cost of living, it's going to vary from place to place, and you know, it's also going to vary on if you are pulling in $10,000 a month on some pension or something. If you're paying $10,000 a month, if you're receiving $10,000 a month, obviously, if you're living in a country where you can live for $4,000 or $5,000 a month and you're living comfortably, then it doesn't matter how much. If it's, oh well, you know, $5,000 is expensive. Well, not if you're bringing in $10,000 or $20,000 a month. It's a drop in the bucket. You know, so where you stay, most people don't stay in Switzerland because it's too expensive to retire to Switzerland. You know, Japan, these kind of places. I can't keep up here. Let me see here. I'm not. Yeah. Well, eventually, hopefully, I will get into that. I only have so much time in the day right now, though, and you know. But I will. These are things on the bucket list, and I've actually got a large number of things on the bucket list on this trip. I've already come up with I've got too many things to do, too many places to go, and too many places to see, and not enough time already. And my wife is just like, okay, I leave it up to you. And I'm like, honey, you need to look at this, and you're going to need to, hey, which one do you like? Otherwise, I'm making the choice, and if you don't like it, you don't like it, you know. But there's a lot of places already that I've been looking around at, and one of the things that is important to expats, at least most expats, is the opportunity for fun, the fun quota. How big is the fun quota? In Thailand, I mean, it's as fun as you want it to be. It's as nasty as you want it to be, you know. The environment, the setting, the climate where you are, is it a happy place? Which, you know, Thailand can be a very happy place for the most part. If you just don't look at the government and what they're saying and doing sometimes, which is how it is in many other countries, most other countries, the people tend to be great, you know. You don't get nasty with anybody. You don't bridge up and get aggressive with anybody. You're not going to have many problems at all. And if you do, it's going to be because someone, you know, someone is outside of the norm, like they're a criminal or whatever it might be. Yeah, I live in Happy Land. I live in near Happy Land, so I am very happy. But that environment, the availability of outdoor activities, the general attitude of the local population and the pace of life are very important. Now, I can tell you, I've been to China twice. I did not particularly like the general attitude of the local population. Some of the people were quite friendly and nice, and then many others were like, no, get away from me. Actually, like, get away. And it wasn't just me, it was a couple of the other guys I was with too. They had the same. They didn't even want to talk to us because we were foreigners. So, you know, I think this is something that you can find this out by going to a place once or twice. You know, once you decide, hey, this place is going back for a second look, then you can take a closer look. Well, that should have been on your list a long time ago to go see Muay Thai. If you like any kinds of fighting, you like Thai culture at all, you get a good insight into Thai culture by going to see some Muay Thai at one of the major stadiums. And major stadiums, I mean Lumpini, Rajdamnern, Amnoy, Chongjet, Channel 7, whatever it might be. But Lumpini used to be, in my opinion, it was the best of the best, man. It was fantastic. I saw championship boxing there. I saw championship Muay Thai there. And some of our guys that were in our gym fought there. Actually, one of the guys won the Rajdamnern Championship while I was in his corner. It was fantastic, man. He knocked the guy out. He just waited and waited and waited. Bam! Hit him with one good shot, like in the third round. He lulled the guy into it, and then he nailed him with a right hand, knocked him out, and then he's jumping up on the ropes, and it was great. That was really good. But Lumpini, to me, the old Lumpini Stadium, which used to be on Rama 4, it's over by Lumpini Park. That place was the best, man. It was the best. And Rajdamnern was good, but Rajdamnern had air conditioning. And Lumpini had fans. And Lumpini had a cage in the back where people were in the cheap seats. The Thais were in the cheap seats and they were gambling. And the reason they had that fence was so that they couldn't throw things at the fighters. I did have a press card for many years where I went and I was sitting on the ring apron, laying on the ring apron, taking photos of all the fights. I got literally hundreds and hundreds of Muay Thai photos. That was really a lot of fun. But anyway, that has nothing to do with this. This is just part of the culture and something that if you're gonna live, especially if you're gonna live here, you really need. And if you're gonna visit, I think if you like sport and you want to see culture, Thai culture, that's a good place to. That's a good place to go. What is that? It looks good. It's like a raspberry smoothie. It's very good. Look at this. I'm gonna show you. Because I'm a nice guy. Look at that. Raspberry smoothie. I don't know what that looks like a dirty coffee or something. I don't know. Yeah, sure you do, Gennaro. You wrestle the monitor lizards. I should actually go to Rangsit because that's where my kid's at. I should go over, that's where he's living. And so I should go over there to go see him and then tell him, all right, that's it. Tonight we're going out we're going to go to the stadium. Anyway, all right, let me get back to this here. Stick with the program. Something else is the social circle. It's not all that, important to me, the whole social circle, because I got kind of an online social circle. Hey, thanks a lot, buddy. Thank you very much. I don't know if it's enough for smoothie. I'm not having a smoothie, but thank you. I will use it for a coffee because I don't want the sugar. Staying away from all that sugar stuff. No sugar for me. No sugar for me in my coffee. And those things, I think that those smoothies are probably one, I hate to say it, they taste fantastic, they're great, but they are one of the worst things for Thai people, that and the bubble tea. I mean, tastes great. If you don't mind, socking on the pounds, drinking those every day, the frappuccinos, all that kind of stuff. I love that stuff, but it's not good for you. Anyway, choke me, Adam. So let me go here. Let me go. The social circle. So, my notes here say, research local clubs, groups, and events to meet new people and explore the new country where you choose to call home. It is also a good idea to connect with other expats as they may be able to offer valuable advice and support. A lot of that's online, at least for me. A lot of it's online, and there are people coming in. I talk to Jono probably more than I see him. There's other people. There's guys down in Pattaya Bob. There's a couple other people. There's one or two others in Bangkok, you know, and so it's, you know, the majority for me is online, and that's okay. That's good. I like that. But that's my social circle, that and my family. You know, I mean, there's only so much time in the day. All right, so the leisure activities, as I said, are important. You got to have that healthy balance in your life. Leisure activities, honeydews, work, whatever it might be. You got to have that balance. So the good thing about Thailand is if you want to go hiking, you can go hiking. You want to go swimming, you can go swimming. You want to like go to indoor events, like go see Blackpink or something like that, you can go do that. There's lots of parks here, and there are some museums here and theaters, although I don't go to them all that often unless I think they're going to be pretty good or I just happen to stumble into them. And that's because I don't particularly find the museums here to be as good as some other countries. If you're going to go, you can go see some temples that are pretty cool here, but anyway, the good thing here about Bangkok, something very, very good, and you know, there are hubs around the world, but Bangkok is a hub for Southeast Asia. You can go just about anywhere from Bangkok. You know, it's like going to New York. You can fly to New York. Now, I can tell you, let me see here. Like I said, some of you already know this, but we have pulled the trigger on our trip. We've got the tickets. Our first stop is Dublin, Ireland, which we only have a half a day. We have about 12 hours. And that's not all that much. But there's a lot of things that I can do, that we can do, because they're all within walking distance. So we do plan on hanging out in Dublin. I don't know about streaming from there. I'm not sure. I do know I'll take some video and we'll go. There's 4 or 5 places that we want to go, and 2 of them are pubs. So, and then we go to Lisbon. Well, yeah, they are artifacts. I'm pretty much near the artifacts. And Lisbon has got, I mean, there's too many places that we can go see. Same with Dublin. We need really, in Lisbon, we need a couple of weeks, man. You know, but if it's really good, we'll go back. If we really like it, we'll go back. But there's all kinds of museums and places and food and just all kinds of stuff for us to do. So that's important. Then we go to Miami. And then from Miami, we go to Ecuador, Guayaquil, near Manta is where we're going to be going. And that's for, I don't know, about 8 days, 9 days. And then we go back to Miami, and we'll be there for another 4 days or so. Then we go to Amsterdam, where we will be for 1 full day, 1 night. And then we go back to Lisbon for a couple of days, and then we come back to Bangkok. So all in all, we'll be gone about 4 weeks. So I'm looking forward to this because I'm actually doing it with my kids and the wife, and I get to go see my parents and my sister and my buddy in Ecuador, and I get to go see a couple of new places that I'm interested in. I am interested in Ecuador. I am interested in Portugal. Right now I'm thinking I like Ecuador more, but I haven't been to these places, so I don't really know. Anyway, let me continue. Seem to veer away. Social circle. Travel opportunities, yes, this is a hub. Now, something, you know, I don't usually talk about this because a lot of the people that watch tend to be retired. Some of them are working online. Obviously now, more people than ever before are working online, are working, they are working as a as a digital nomad or location independent or whatever it is like that, you know. So nowadays, it's going to be interesting to see what these places are like and which place I feel has the better vibe and all that other kind of stuff. And you know, I haven't been to Amsterdam in many years. It's the last time that I went I went actually to Florida, and then I went to Panama. It was either Panama or Nicaragua. I went for a boxing convention, and yeah, so it should be enlightening. That's what I'll say. Hopefully, you know, I try to keep an open mind, and you know, you have to do that. But eventually, there will emerge a favorite. And like I said, I haven't been to Amsterdam in a long time, haven't been to the Netherlands in a long time, and that place has always been one of my favorite places. So I'm very happy that we had such a long layover. Scott, are you going to do a live stream sometime in between all the travel, or will you wait to compile a travel? Smart ass 2Q Asia, but he's probably right. Now, I'm definitely going to try to stream from every place that we go. We're actually going to be in Abu Dhabi, so maybe I'll stream from Abu Dhabi. I don't know. Or maybe I'll just shoot a video. You know, I think in Abu Dhabi we're just going to be in the airport for 3 or 4 hours, but then we go to Dublin. So we're going from. It's a pretty lengthy trip. I mean, you know, it's from Thailand to UAE to Dublin, Ireland to Lisbon, Portugal to Miami, Florida to Ecuador back to Miami, back to Amsterdam. I mean, that's a lengthy journey. So yeah, it should be a good trip. And you know, I already have. Oh yeah. Now listen, the one thing is that I have looked into going to, where's Niall in Thailand when you need him? The one thing is that my mother told me about the Guinness storehouse. And I definitely want to have a Guinness while I'm in Ireland. You know what, I'm sorry, I love Guinness. It's probably my favorite beer. And I want to have one. I don't know that we want to go to the storeroom though, simply because I've read many people that said it's kind of boring. You go on a self-tour and it's like, you know, yeah, I don't know. I just read many people who said they thought it was a little bit boring. And so what they said was go to some other pubs. Go to a pub if you want a Guinness. So I'm thinking about going to a place called the Temple Bar, which is very famous among tourists, and another one which is the oldest bar in Ireland, and that is the Brazen Head, which is, I think it's the 5th oldest pub in all of the world. So that should be pretty interesting. Anyway, like I said, I was getting into before I was so rudely interrupted by whoever. For some people, you know, they look at coming to a place like Thailand as another step in their career. Especially people in the travel industry, people in the hotel industry, tech people, teachers. I don't like the way this is. Let's see. So this is something, and you know, when I first came over here, I really did my research about jobs. I thought about trying to work here, and I went through several places and came close at one place, and then I just thought, you know what, I got to figure something out, and don't worry, I'll figure it out. You know, well, that which is kind of short-sighted, we'll say. Definitely short-sighted. But if you if you want to, like here in Thailand, one thing that I've heard is the opportunity for advancement of foreigners, unless you're working for an international company, your chances of progress, your opportunities for career advancement are relatively low. They're not as high as in some other places. For instance, Singapore, Hong Kong. Something else to think about is tax obligations. Tax obligations. If you're an American, taxes follow you. You are supposed to pay tax. Depends on how much, how much you're making, and do you make a certain amount. And Scott, I wish Thailand and the U.S. could sign a Social Security treaty. Well, I don't know what that means, Wesley. I don't understand exactly what you mean. I know I have the gist. I get the gist of what you're saying, but I'm talking about be a little more specific. I'm not sure what they would do because you can easily get your. That's what it is. This thing's almost at the end of the table. The Jameson's tour. This is the thing. I only got so much time. We only have so much time. And Portugal, lots and lots of places to see. I haven't even thought about the places to see in Ecuador. All I know is that my buddy might go and meet us there, and he might show us around, or we are going to stay at his place, and we'll be near the beach, and then we can take a couple little trips, not too far away, day trips or whatever. And if he goes with us, that would be great. Well, I understand it's only one day, but we're only going to be there 12 hours. We don't want to take a whole day for one tour. We'd rather see 3 or 4 or 5 places. Like if you go to the Trinity College, the Book of Kells, that's, hour and a half. Guinness, hour and a half, 2 hours. What's the name of that place? The Comain, what is it? It's like the prison. Then there's, what is it? Saint something, Greenery, Saint. Yeah, I can't remember all of them. But, we're going to squeeze it in, believe me. We're taking a taxi downtown. And then from there, we'll basically walk just about everywhere. Then when we're ready to split, we take a taxi back to the airport, chill out for a bit, jump on the plane. Next stop. Oh, we're going to Cantio Mountain. My Irish accent doesn't work. My wife has to have her U.S. citizenship to receive in Thailand. No, I don't think you can use your Medicare here, buddy. I don't think that's the case. I do not believe you can use your Medicare in Thailand. And if you can, it's only like in rare cases, like one particular type of Medicare. And I don't remember the name of it, the type of it, but I don't think you can. And yes, as far as your wife getting Social Security, yeah, she has to be a citizen in order to get it. Or she has to be living in the United States at least. Hey Jim, when do I go out? Well, it's the 28th of May through the 24th. I think that's what it is. So, pretty good trip. Almost 4 weeks. And, the reason that I chose, I know I can file after I get back for 80%, but you need to have Part C. Yeah, but what I'm saying is you can still get the Medicare in the States, but like if you're going to try to get coverage here, they're not going to pay for it. They're not going to cover it. I don't believe that that's the case. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think so. I looked into it a while ago. Yeah, so, I mean, yeah, okay, great, you got Medicare, but if you're living over here, then basically it means you got to go all the way over there, which is the same situation I'm in with the Veterans Administration in the United States. I can get coverage there, but I can't get coverage here. So that's something to think about, and for me, that's a big deal. And honestly, that is something that I'm thinking about. I don't know exactly about Portugal and their medical care and all that, and I will look into it before I leave. But I do know that in Ecuador, the medical care is quite good, and it doesn't cost all that much. It would be less than what we're paying here, and for all of us, much less, and the care would be as high or pretty close to. So, very important, you know. And you may not think it's important now, but when you get a bit older, it might be a lot more important. Which is why I said that medical care is one of the top, most important things that matter to foreigners, especially older foreigners. Now, if you're young, most people don't even think about it. They go, oh yeah, I got some insurance, I got travel insurance. Okay, great. But I'm talking about you decide you're going to live here. You're not just traveling through. You're not, you know, travel insurance is only good for, I think, a year at a time. I don't know how it works after that. You know, do they consider you as someone who's an expat? You're not traveling. I don't know. But I do know that you should have insurance of some kind. And if you're young, you need to remember that if you plan on, I just don't know how people, I mean, I was 32 and I never said to myself, I'm going to live there forever. I didn't say that until I had lived here for a while. Then I thought, I wonder if I'm going to live here forever, because my initial plan was to live here for 1 year, no more than a year, and then go back. Now imagine if you're 22 or 23, and I've had many messages from people where they say to me, I'm so tired of it here, I can't handle it. I got to get out of here. I've had enough. I'm like, you've had enough? You barely got hair on your spitzel. Yeah, well, I don't think that most people here, most Westerners, are not going to go to Pakistan as an expat, just simply because they want to live in Pakistan, unless perhaps they have family there or they are part Pakistani or whatever it might be. But I don't think there's a whole hell of a lot of people that want to go live there just simply because it's a great place to live. I'm still young, and to me, medical is on the top of my list always. Yeah, medical care is important. So that's something that we should all think about. Now, and I didn't think of this when I came here, but I had to think of it several years after I came here, and that is family life. If you come here and let's say that you come here and you go, I managed to retire, I'm 48, figured it out. And then you're here for 4 or 5 years. Let's say you're here and you're 55 now. You've been living here for 7 years. You meet some woman and you go, oh my God, she's the best. She's the best. She's the best, Scott, the best. And you marry her. Or you start living with her and you knock her up, whether purposely or not. Now you got a kid. Now you got the wife. You got to prepare for that. And I didn't prepare. I just took it as it came. But if you're going to come here as a younger guy, especially, you might want to think about that. Unless you are the kind of person who is steadfast, I will not hook up with anybody long term. I'm going to make sure that everything is protected, everything is good, and it's going to be It's not going to be. I'm not going to let myself get into a situation where I hook up. I didn't think I was going to hook up with anybody. I never thought that. I always thought, who knows? Well, yeah, there's a lot of Western guys that do. And for some, it's the way it goes. I might be leaving there for a short stint coming up. I was told yesterday my slot on the contract might not be around for the second option year, so now I'm looking for remote work. Oh, well, that's kind of good and bad, I guess. Statistics say most expats return to their country of origin within 7 years. So what does that tell you about me? That's why, well, some people, they want to go back home. Some people, they go back home because they have to, or, there's a lot of reasons why people return back. But, there are a lot of people now that I know who are older, like, say, Jono, who's 68. There's a couple guys I know in their 60s and also in their 70s. These guys, they don't want to start all over again. And this is something, if you're going to move, the reason I'm bringing this up, because I started thinking, and I'm always thinking about this. If I was to actually take the step and say, all right, that's it, we're moving, let's go. And the wife says, yep, we're out of here. Kids, you want to come? Yes or no? What's the deal? You got a good job, don't do it. You can go live in America, you can do whatever you want. However it works out, if we do move anywhere, it's a big move. It's a huge ordeal. If you're young and you got no attachments and you don't have much stuff, like I had, I think it was 3 bags altogether, and one of them was a duffel bag, one of them was a backpack, and one of them was a suitcase. What do you got to worry about? You're a single guy, you're like 50 years old, and you got no kids or anything like that, and maybe you're divorced. Okay, well, maybe you got some financial things you got to tie up, but other than that, the wife isn't going to be a problem. The ex-wife, rather, she won't be a problem. So you move on over here. But if you are gonna, let's say you do pull the trigger, and never say never. Because I was having a great time over here. I was having fun. I was running around. I was doing things. I was exploring Thai culture. And, I still ended up getting married and having kids and all that kind of stuff. I didn't really think, I thought maybe eventually it would happen, but I wasn't thinking like, oh, that's what I want so bad. It might happen to you. So some of the things you need to think about, childcare. As I've said, we had a nanny way back when. My wife used to stay home. She wasn't working, but then when she started working, we had a nanny. You got to think about the education, and if you don't want them just to go to school in like a public Thai school, then it's going to cost you for a bilingual or international school. It's going to cost. It's going to cost. Also you got to think about things like clothes, medical care for them. Alex and Nicholas both had to have braces. That wasn't cheap. It was cheaper than in the States, but that still wasn't cheap. It adds up. You got to think about quality of education. Can you afford to send them to an international school? If you got 2 kids, 3 kids, that's a big nut to cover. All right, what is this here? Hey Scott, that's me. I would ship stuff to my sisters in Louisiana and back a couple of bags and head that way on a 90-day visa. Almost 45 kids and never married. You'd be able to stay here for a while, but eventually you have to figure something else out, or the Thai immigration may say to you, sorry, this is your last trip until you get a different kind of a visa. Air quality, traffic, and traffic safety, noise pollution, congestion, all of these things to me are negatives in Bangkok. However, the traffic, they're starting to alleviate it just a little bit with the SkyTrain, the subway, the CityLink, the boats, their transportation system is really second to none. So I don't really worry about that too much, at least in Bangkok and anywhere else for that matter, because I know I can get around. You got a little bit of money, you can get around. You can call a Grab, you can arrange a van, you can do whatever you want. I mean, like, you know, I can go to Pattaya in a minivan for $5, and I'll be there in, you know, hour and a half, 2 hours. Not a big deal. So transportation is something that's great here, but the traffic in some areas, and Hua Hin is one of those places that I mentioned. Pattaya, the traffic is not what it used to be. It is worse than it used to be. It just continues to get worse in all these places. Bangkok. Xenophobia, I don't know that I wouldn't call that a real problem, Gennaro. Xenophobia. Yeah, I mean, you know, but you can't think that way, because there are Thais out there that are more than willing to talk to you, but maybe they're just a little shy because that's their nature. They're not ready to come up and talk to you. Listen, if I wanted to start talking to these women over here, this lady over here, I could talk to them very easily. It would not be a problem, because they're pretty good at sensing what you're after or what you're trying to accomplish. If you're just having a conversation, even in the States, listen, when I went back to the States the last time, I struck up conversations, and you know, well, a lot of places don't see foreigners as equals, but again, Gennaro, I think that you cannot fall into the trap of it's us versus them. It's not us versus them. It may seem that way sometimes, but it's not. And for the most part, yes, you do have to be concerned about a few things, of course. You get into a traffic accident, you need to make sure that you know, everything's going to go your way, because if you are even remotely at fault, well, then there's a good chance that you are going to be the one who's found guilty. Pros and cons of wife and kids' U.S. citizenship passports versus Thai. Well, they have both, so there's no pro and con. They go in and out on their Thai passport, and they go into America on their U.S. passport and travel on their U.S. passport to Europe, and there's no problems. The one thing with my wife is, you know, because she's Thai, you go into United Arab Emirates, even for a layover, you need a transit visa, and for a Thai, and that transit visa actually is relatively easy, supposedly, because the airline, if it's just a transit visa and you're not leaving the airport, then the airline will handle it for you. You just need to fill out a form. So that's easy. Ireland, on the other hand, I don't know yet. She's going to have to get that, and she's working on that. But other than that, then we're good to go. Ecuador doesn't require a visa for a Thai. And because the kids are American, they got their American passports, brand new passports. I think just it's like 3 months. Their passports are like 2-3 months old. So we don't have to worry about them. And with her, she's been to so many different countries already now that it's a piece of cake for her to get a visa. So, what is this here now? Every country is gonna, oh, it goes beyond that, huh? I've been to so many, oh, I don't know about all this food stuff that you guys are talking about. Hey, listen, don't forget to visit my website, pick up one of my books. They call me Farang, ask me anything. Go to AmericanInBangkok.com. You can get a shirt, you can get a hat, you can get a coffee cup. Eventually, I'm going to finish the rest of that website. You can also buy me a coffee, use the CASHAPP, become a sponsor on YouTube, on Patreon. You can just watch, or you can check out some of my social media. That's also down below. whatever you want to do. You're wondering why people in the U.S. want to leave. Because we get tired of seeing the U.S. all the time. We get tired of our life. We want a different life, a new life. We get tired of hearing things that maybe we don't agree with. Oh, I love Thai food. I don't know what makes you think I don't like Thai food. I love Thai food. Actually, last night I had some, this is not really Thai food, but I had some of the pork, you know, the pork knuckle. Mu sam chan, which is 3 layers of pork belly, but this is a pork knuckle. And I had some yesterday. But as far as like traditional Thai food, like, you know, pad Thai, tom yum, durian, all that kind of stuff, I love it. I just don't eat it that much now because, first of all, I get sick of it. And right now, I'm not eating a lot of rice. I'm really not eating any rice, not eating any noodles. I'm staying away from that stuff because that packs on the pounds if you're eating it every day, you know? Well, you got a bacterial infection, but guess what? You got over it. And the more you are here and eat the food, I'm not talking about eating stuff that's going to kill you, but you know, you get a little diarrhea or something from the meal. It just makes your gut even stronger, man. The next time you come, you know, maybe the food won't affect you that much. Some people, they eat really, really spicy food, and then they wonder why the next 2 days they're blowing it out the back hole and they can't stop. They can't stop it up. Forget etouffee, huh? Etouffee. I'm lost. Yeah, I almost never have really bad stomach problems. Not anymore. I mean, once in a while, but you know, no big deal. Just don't go to places that, you know, like there's no people there and it looks like it hasn't been, nobody's eaten there for, you know, the last week. If you see cockroaches and rats, mice, and you see the lady's got really dirty fingernails or something like that, then go elsewhere. I mean, you know, I have a foodborne illness twice here in the last 20 months. Both times it was from Western food in a restaurant. Never sick from street food. There you go. What did I eat the other day that made my stomach really queasy? It was Western food. I don't know, was it pork? Let me think here. No, it was hot dogs. It was sausage, actually, not hot dogs. It was some sausage that I had. And I think the sausage, you know, it was the sausage they were giving, it was a deal. You got like 2 for 1, 2 packages for 1. And I thought, okay, I'll get this. So I get the sausage. Now, there's 2 packages, so I cut one off, eat up all the hot dogs, or the sausages rather, and then I got 1 package left. Well, I didn't eat it for a couple of days, 2-3 days. So maybe it went bad, even before the expiration date, I don't know. But I could tell it was from the sausage. So it doesn't really matter, you know. I mean, I wouldn't go to the market here and go out at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon after the heat of the day and go buy some pork from the vendor. I wouldn't do it if it was outdoors. I'd rather buy something from a grocery, and this is why you're going to pay money. And I don't know if CJ is still in the stream, but I did give CJ an idea of how much I had spent for groceries, and I mentioned it in the stream, in one of the streams. But now it's almost the end of the month, and so I'm starting to see how much I spent in groceries, and it's, you know, we spend a lot of money for groceries, and we still eat out sometimes. Sometimes, you know, the kids will eat like Burger King, and they'll have a cheeseburger, and, you know, they'll have a couple of cheeseburgers or something like that. Once in a while they have that. Sometimes they have Thai food where, you know, the wife just gets it on the way home. Sometimes She orders it, and she hasn't been cooking as much because she didn't have as much time. I don't cook all that much anymore for them because I want them to cook for themselves. But with the groceries, with the groceries for us and the food, we probably, for 4 people, we probably spend about $30,000 altogether. I probably spend about 20. The wife might spend 10, 15. And that's for all of us eating. When she goes and has food, when she's at work, she generally goes out to eat. There's at least 100, maybe 200 baht sometimes. Depends on where they go to eat. They may eat in a cheap place, like a stall, or they may go out to a nice restaurant and make a big deal out of it, They may go out to dinner afterwards. It wasn't adventurous street food. I'm just eating what they ate from the market down the street. A surprise because I usually have an iron gut. Well, yeah, with squid, you got to think that if you were having squid in Bangkok, it had to come from somewhere. It takes time to get there. Who knows how well it was refrigerated, or how well it was stored, where it's coming from, how long it was out somewhere, how long it was out in the hot sun at the market, So my recommendation is to always go early to a market to get your food. That way it hasn't been out in the hot sun. And that's one other thing I didn't even think about. I don't know if I could go to I don't know if I could live in a place where the food was intolerable. The food, it was like, you're like, the food's not that good here. Gennaro, most of the time, you're gonna be fine. You're going to be fine. I've already spent how much here? 160 baht. I spent 160 baht. I've had two coffees already. It's about $5, which is not a huge amount, but if you're doing it every day, it adds up. A couple $1,000s a year. Which is why I'm telling myself I need to only come to coffee shops for things like this when I'm streaming. Sometimes it's just a habit. I'm on my way back from the grocery. I'm like, I'm not ready to go home yet. Stop in this coffee shop, have a coffee. I sit there, listen to some music for an hour. All right, it's time to go home. And Starbucks is one of the most expensive places. That place I went a couple of weeks ago, the place where I think the woman was Venezuelan who owned it, the coffee there was 120 baht a pop. That may not sound like a lot, but you figure, 2 coffees a day at a place like that. That's 240 baht. 7,200 baht in a month. That's a lot. So you're almost better off buying a good coffee and going out once in a while. And places like this, it was 80 baht. It's cheaper and the coffee was so much better, in my opinion, than any Starbucks coffee. This particular place is the best coffee that I've had. The only coffee in recent times that would match it is at Sarni's. Hey Joe, morning to you, and thank you very much. Thank you very much. Choke D to you. You see, that is horrible, really. I have been listening yesterday. I got a bad habit of saying listen. And that comes from that little kid. Listen, Linda. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a little clip that went viral of some little kid. He wanted to eat some cookies or something. And his mother was going, now I told you you need to do this, you need to do that. And he kept going, Linda, listen, Linda. He was calling his mother by her name. Funny clip. And I don't know why, but I'm saying, listen. You can go to better places and get better coffee, but to have that gold, thank you very much, Michael, I appreciate that. This is the thing. I've been buying this coffee. It's an espresso roast. It's for 500 grams, it's 330 baht, so about 10 bucks. Choke knee to you, Michael. Right? So it's about 10 bucks for, no, not 500 grams, 250 grams. It's $5. Now, if you get 250 grams from Sarni's, it's 790 baht, but it's really good coffee. Now, I believe they sell coffee here. Yeah, they get some. Yeah, they do sell coffee here. I'm not sure how much they have available, but all you need is, you know, a little bit. And I'm telling you, the coffee here is. I don't even know what to say. It's really good. It was so good. So very, very good. Compare when you have Cafe Amazon, Starbucks, sorry Andy and Dowlow, but everyday coffee. I don't want to bash that place, but that was very, very everyday, like the kind of office coffee that sits all day. That's what it reminded me of. When you're having this kind of coffee, and then you have a really good coffee, man, it's like I'm loving this place. The name of the establishment is Now Coffee, Now Cafe rather. And actually, I'm going to do something right now because I forgot about this. I didn't want to give away my location straight away. I'm going to put all the information down in the description. But it's there's a if you look on Google Maps, it doesn't just sometimes it doesn't come up as Now Cafe. It comes up as Now Cafe, or it comes up as there's a Thai symbol, which I forget how to say the letter, but I know the letter is, it's an N, Na, basically. And I'm trying to see if I can put this up here. Oh, shit, spelled it wrong. Definitely a place if you are looking for a place to go, this is it. Here it is right here. Trying to get the link up for you guys. This is what I want right here. I want to copy this. Oh shit. Oops. I don't know if this is going to work, but oh, it does. All right, Mitch, you take it easy, buddy. Maybe I'll see you when I go to Pattaya next month, or in the next couple of weeks. Let's see here. Yeah, we got it right here. I got the coffee shop. Yes, I kind of like this music as opposed to some of that teeny bopper garbage that is played in Starbucks and some other places. All right, let me put the link. I'm going to put a link up to this right now. That is a link to their site, and this is the name of this site. Or you can just put this, and if you put that into Google, it will show you exactly where I am. Let me get some more water here. All right, I gotta show you this place now. guy over there. There's two girls there. We got a lady here. We got a lady here. We got a guy sitting right there. Guy sitting here. Two women over there. Three people over there. Four people working. I mean, this is a nice place, man. I'm very impressed. And I do have another place picked out already that is close by here. I'm loving this place. And I'll tell you, it cost me 69 baht to get here by Grab motorbike. It's just past. If you're in the Ramkhamhaeng area, you're gonna turn towards you can take the City Link. You can take the City Link in from town, and you can take the SkyTrain to the City Link, the MRT to the City Link, whatever you want, and then you get off on Huamak. And if you get off on Huamak, you should, I think it's a little bit of a walk, maybe a 15, 20-minute walk, but you could take a motorbike and it'd take you probably 5 minutes to get here. And I think it's worth it. I actually think it's worth it. This place reminds me, I don't know if you guys remember where I had the probably last year or the year before with Chuck. Chuck and I went to this place. It was called La Mesa. And for obvious reasons, because the guy was from Arizona and he set it up like that, and he had the best caramel cheesecake. It was so good. That's another place I would go to specifically to have the cheesecake and the coffee. This place, that orange cake looks really good, but I'm not going to have any. But their coffee is great. And it's a very nice environment. And you can sit outside. The garden outside is very, very nice. And they'll serve you outside, so. I read good things about this place, and they turned out to be true, so. Mission successful. Anyway, getting back to this subject that I've broached. I broached the subject. I'm really curious to how many of you guys would live in South America as opposed to Asia. Because, you know, South America's got an abundance of places. Costa Rica, Mexico, not really South America, Costa Rica, Colombia, Latin America, we'll say. Ecuador, some people like Uruguay, people like Argentina, Chile, Belize, a lot of places in Latin America to live. And maybe if you're an American, you consider living in one of these places. You don't want to move to Thailand. There are easier places, Panama, Nicaragua, there's lots of places. So that's something else, you know, I think. And then maybe you want to go to Australia. We all know how wonderful Australia is, albeit a little bit expensive. And also New Zealand's another place. So you got all these places. The women are gorgeous, but I'm not fond of the culture. Which place is that? Latin America? That region? You're not fond of them? I should get another coffee, eh? Like I need it. I need another coffee. Got the bug eyes. I forgot I don't have to use my phone to make the payment. Yeah, you know, one thing I don't like about Latin America is the whole machismo thing. I'm past that, the machismo. I don't need to show any machismo. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to, just because you show that you're macho doesn't mean that you can actually fight or protect yourself. It just means that you think you're something and, you know, maybe you are, maybe you're not. And if you're an older guy, you don't want to think that way. So let me go up and get another, I'm going to get another coffee. I have to get myself another piccolo. It's quite good. will take this with me. We will just kind of go this way. Go get myself. The music's coming from those speakers right there. I thought they had coffee. Call Piccolo. อีกหนึ่งครับ ใช่บัตรนะอ๋อก็ตอนนี้ผมไลฟ์นะไม่ได้ ผมจะกลับมาโอเค They don't take cards. Wow. Well, that's not good. They take scans, but no card. And I don't have enough cash right now because I paid for the driver with my cash. How much cash do I have? 20 baht. That's just how it is now. And maybe I should carry, a spare 500 baht, 1,000 baht in my pocket. In fact, I'm going to have to do that. But I think that's kind of funny. I mean, I'm not mad about it or anything like that because it's such a good place, and I kind of understand. All right, let's not take cards, but let's take the QR code. And the QR is the way here, man. I'm telling you, I've been keeping track of how much I've spent through transfers. I'm just going to say electronic. I've never been to a place they didn't take cards, but they took QR. They've always taken everything. Some places haven't taken cash, like Starbucks. But they do take cards. So that's something to think about too. But I mean, I like the system here. The only thing is you really do need to bring, I always cut it close. I'm always like, I'm only going to take out 300 baht because I'm not going anywhere tomorrow and I don't want to spend any cash. And all I need is to buy some eggs or something like that. Then I got a couple hundred baht in my pocket. And then, for some reason it gets spent. My kid's like, I think I want to go get something to eat. Oh, you got money? No. Oh, here you go. Boom. Then my money's gone. Then the cash is gone. So I need to really carry like a little emergency 1,000 baht, which I used to do all the time, but I haven't done it lately. And in that way, if you ever get in a situation like this where they go, oh, we don't take your card, because if it was Starbucks, I would just tell them, or especially Starbucks where beer was there, or one of the people that they know me a little bit, I would just say, listen, I'm online. Like I said to them, I'll pay you after, in about 15 minutes or something like that, and there wouldn't be any problem. They would do it. But here, because I don't know them and I don't want to assume anything, then it's okay. But I think it's funny. I think it's funny that no cards, but they take QR. No, we take cards, but no QR. What was it that I got yesterday? I don't know what the hell. I'm thinking about what it was. Another guy in the taxi had a little placard with his QR code. So they're jumping on the program, man. Yeah, you know what? This is the thing. Would you move to Hanoi for the coffee culture? Unless you were like a coffee professional, you're looking to open up a couple of stores, or you're looking to open up your store. I don't think I'd move to a place specifically for coffee or the coffee culture. Like in Colombia or Ethiopia or Jamaica. Would I move there just for the coffee? If I was involved in the business, then yes. But if I wasn't involved in the business, no. Now, it helps that like Thailand has grown, and now I don't have to go, no, I don't need a big cup of espresso. I don't need an 8-ounce cup of coffee. That's not an espresso. I don't need to. Now, 99% of the time, I don't have to explain it. Sometimes like this time I go, oh, with a small glass, small cup. There are places that do take crypto, but I don't think the crypto is caught on as much as the QR. Nowhere near. I don't think people here in Thailand, at least, and there still is some debate on whether or not it's going to remain legal here and what the stipulations are. And like my old lady and I have a little bit of crypto. I don't know how much it is. It's not more than about $1,000, and it's just been sitting there. I don't know how much is left. I haven't got, I haven't gotten any idea how much money we have in the crypto right now. But I know that I just kind of have thought, I need to really get into this so much. I think I missed that boat. I don't foresee it in the future being some major way of paying for things here in Thailand or even in the United States and other parts of the world. I think it's one of those things that, like here, you take American Express. Some places, no, we don't take it. Some places, oh yes, we do, sir. You're gonna pay for an airline ticket, they take American Express. But, do you take crypto? No, sir, sorry. Most of the places that take crypto, they're catering to the younger crowd. They're trying to get the hip generation involved, and they just want to be known as a place that younger people can go and they can use an alternative kind of payment method. And there are some guest houses and stuff like that do take them, but for the most part, no. Crypto doesn't reliably put rice in the bowl. Not really. I said it about, I don't know, it was probably 4 years ago now. I made some money off of crypto, but it was because I was like, oh, it's dropped really, really low. And then I bought it, and then like within 3 days it went up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make some money here, boom, and I sold it, and that was it. Now, if I had just kept it for 3-4 years, I wouldn't have gotten rich, but I would have made probably double what I made, triple what I made. Dreamland barbecue. I don't know about Dreamland barbecue. I always think cash is the best, but really, is it? I like the feeling of having a wad of cash in my pocket. I like the feeling of peeling off a bunch of bills. I don't like the feeling wondering if I happen to get jumped somewhere, some guy's gonna get, $5,000 out of my pocket, something like that. And, I did used to carry around, I'd carry around $1,000. Maybe once in a while I'd carry around more. There was one time that I had to pay for something involved in boxing. We were involved with boxing. I had to pay, and it was, I don't know, it was 700,000 baht. I was carrying it around, and I had it in like a brown paper bag and then like a grocery bag. And that was it. Big governments are out to destroy crypto. They want their own to control. Yeah, that's how it is about life in general. It's become more apparent now, I think, over the last few years, especially with what's going on in the past 3 years or so. It's the governments. They don't want to lose control. They don't want to lose control. They want to make sure that we do and what they want, and we react and we act how they want. And I think there is something to be said about, I didn't think of it as, the guy, what's his name, Andrew Tate, always talks about get out of the matrix. I just thought you're living outside of the norm. You're living outside of the box. You're living outside of the bubble, the normal bubble that is life, which is go to school, finish up, get your degree, get the wife, the kids, the 1.79 kids or whatever it is, and white picket fence, all that stuff those days are over, man. I think it's gone along this one. That's the original barbecue. I don't know anything about all this barbecue stuff. Scotty only knows Asian barbecue. I've forgotten about let me think here. I've forgotten more about Thailand than I remember of the United States. That's about where I am now. My memory is not that good. I'll tell you what, I've talked about this before. There is a brand here that's sold. It's called Gobbler. That's the brand name, Gobbler. Not a lie, Gobbler. And they sell burgers, they sell sausage. Now they have all different flavors of sausage. They have rosemary and sage, they have Italian sausage, they have English breakfast sausage. Yesterday, or day before yesterday, I had the lamb and sage or lamb and rosemary or something like that. But they also have burgers. They have a lamb burger, which I did have yesterday. I had a double lamb burger with cheese. And they also have a Texas barbecue burger. And they are the best, man. I put them in the air fryer, boom. 10 minutes later, those bad boys are cooked perfectly. Throw some good Havarti cheese or cheddar or whatever it is on there that you like, and man. So if you get a chance, look around for the Gobbler brand. Look for the Gobbler. I get a sense that we're at a major turning point. Not sure if it's for the better. I think we do fail to remember that while there are some very bad things going on, there are also some good things. And one of the things is that medically, we generally aren't in nearly the pain that we used to be. We're taken care of far better than we used to be. We don't die from things like a simple cut most of the time. That doesn't happen nearly as often. So when it comes to medically, I think we're much better off. When it comes to technological advances, we're much better off. I don't know that that always makes everything all better, though. If you're further south, Dobbs barbecue is better. It's been around when I was a kid before I moved to Birmingham. And you guys can debate this barbecue stuff until the cows come home. This place is almost full. That's crazy. This is a real, I'm digging this place. I would come here, stream it or not, I would come here. I would spend the 70 baht to come here and spend a couple of, it's kind of like a Sarni's. You come here, you figure you're going to spend 400 or 500 baht just to get here, have a couple of drinks. You're going to spend 400 or 500 baht. It's going to cost you a little bit. Anyway, probably should do that with the microphone being right there. Well, like I said, Australia is another place. New Zealand's another place. You got all these places that you can live. The place just has to meet your needs. And I asked Jono yesterday, day before yesterday, I asked him, if you were to do it all over again, would you move here again? Yes. We talked about how it took him all 10 years to plan this. It was not just 10 years like, it wasn't 10 years just because, well, I'm just going to go over there and I got to know every little thing. That's not what it was. It's more about lining up your ducks, getting your ducks in a row so that when you do come over here, he's probably never going to move anywhere aside from maybe getting another apartment. He's probably never going to move from Thailand. He'll be here forever. Now, if you're, like I said, if you're 25 years old and you come over here and you're an English teacher, chance of you being here forever, I don't know. How bad do you really want to live here? There are other places to live. And, you know, sometimes the culture does get to people. It gets to me sometimes. Sometimes I get irritated easily. Imagine that. Now, obviously, I haven't gotten that irritated today because I haven't sworn one time. You know, yeah, it takes some people a long time to pull the trigger, and I can tell you that if I was back home right now, I would take more time than I took. I only took about I took a couple of. Once I decided I'm not going to travel back and forth to Bangkok, I actually want to live in Thailand. It was only about no more than 3 months. I'm pretty sure that's about how long it took me. By the time I decided to sell my business, got the money, got everything together, and took off, it was like 3 months. But that was then. Nowadays, why would you do that? I guess, you know, if you're young and you want an adventure, and I was still somewhat young. I was young at heart. Anyway, so there you have it. Factors that what expats really want, factors that matter when living abroad: security, medical care, transportation, ease of getting a visa and staying here, great internet, online services. You know, online services can be have to do with your financial system. It can be the ability to do things online as opposed to having to go to places. That makes life much more easy. I pay my electric bill, my water bill. I never go to to the electric company or the water company. I don't go to True to pay my bill. I don't pay anything in person anymore. The cost of living, obviously, for most people is a factor. Environment and setting. You got to have a good climate, and this is something that is affecting me in my neighborhood. I like it when I'm inside the house, although if we got a new house and we were in a really nice place like we want to get, I think I would enjoy it, of course. But you know, we're comfortable in our house right now, and how it's when you go outside though, and when there's a day the pollution is heavy, when the day traffic is very heavy and it's like you're maybe 5-6 o'clock at night and you're trying to get home from the mall, you can't even get a taxi, and when you do, you're sitting in traffic. It takes you an hour to get home that you can walk in 10-15 minutes. A social circle, you got to have the social circle. Plenty of leisure activities. How are you going to fill your time up? If you're a traveler, you want to know that you can get around. You want to know it's fairly simple to do what you want to do, go where you want to go. Let's see if I can do this here. Also, if you're coming here to work, if you're moving up in your career, you want to make sure that this is a good place to advance your career, that there's plenty of opportunities available here, and that you're going to be happy long term, or for the terms of your contract. You want to make sure that the place is, it's probable that you're going to be liable to pay taxes in your new country of residence, and if not, you need to find out what kind of agreements there are between your country and the country you decide to live in, and what's going to happen one way or the other when it comes to paying taxes, because somebody wants some money from you. And then if you're going to come here with a family, or you are going to raise a family here, build a family here, have your own, whatever it is, you need to consider the cost of childcare and education and the quality of childcare and education. Are you going to be able to afford to send them to a good school, or a pretty good school, or a great school, or whatever? That's kind of important. You're going to be able to make sure that everything's taken care of, because you want your family to be, you want them to be good. And that's why, For the most part, I am always pretty happy because I know the kids are okay. They're headed in the right direction. I know wife's okay. I'm okay. We're all okay. We're all right. What else? I don't know. Consider these factors, and you should be fine. Let me read some of these comments here. Good on you, Scott. I keep my swearing down a lot these days, especially around other people. Well, it depends on where I am and what kind of conversation I'm involved in. But here in the stream, I've tried to tone it down simply because every single time I say a swear word, this stream gets limited, which is just irritating, if anything. He never curtailed his cussing around me. Well, you know, you should feel honored that I am willing to be myself. Here I have to, it's self-censorship. I'm looking for a country buffalo girl who can cuss, swear, and spit like Teeter from Yellowstone. Okay, have at it, Gennaro. Have at her. What is this here? You look like you're melting away. Good on you. Well, I'm keeping the weight off. I need to lose more. I want to lose more. It's going to take some time. That's what I'll say. Especially to get to where I'm happy with how I am. I'm always fairly comfortable just because I'm like, you know, you are what you are at that moment. But I know there are some things that I'd like to do physically, and losing the weight's a good start to those things. I opted to own transportation, but it isn't necessarily required. No, it's definitely not. Would love to come and work there, hence the remote job. We will see how it goes. I'm a graphics printer guy by trade, but working on S+ and A+ certification for IT work. Yeah, it's a little more difficult to get IT jobs here now, but it's not impossible. For you, Nana might be a social circle. I don't know. It's definitely not for me anymore, but it did used to be in the past. I used to go there. I'd go there in the afternoon and have a beer or have a gin and tonic, or just hang out and play pool. I would do that all the time. My wife can use her driver's license in the U.S., but in Thailand I also have to use an inner driver's license. It's kind of, we didn't own a home. I wouldn't have bought a truck. Yeah, well, I mean, once you're out in a village, it does kind of pay to have your own transportation, and that's something that we've been thinking about for. We think and think and think. We don't pull the trigger quickly, believe me. We're not gung-ho about any major purchases. Personally, I prefer money than stuff, but, you know. I have to dial it back a little bit, when some stuff comes out of my mouth, shocks people. How I surprise myself sometimes. Well, you're talking to somebody that, you know, I can swear with the best of them, but I just don't think, in many ways, it's probably not the best thing to do. Therme will be a nice, oh God, you'd be better off going to Nana, my friend. I hate to tell you that. I don't even want to say the C word anymore. New York, I don't care about. Let them be how they want. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. This is the thing. I'm going to say it again. Think of me as Donald Trump saying this. I don't care. I just don't care. I get so many messages about this guy did this guy did that, she did this, she did that in the United States. Oh my God, look what they're doing now. I heard there was another shooting yesterday or day before yesterday, and it happened to be an in-betweener. And I'm like, you know, I don't want to sound flippant, apathetic, or uncaring. Of course I care a little bit, but I don't want it to affect me. I don't really want to care about it. You know. What happens in the U.S., that's in the U.S. I don't live in the U.S. And that's kind of how Thais think as well. You know, why I'm worried about that. What's it have to do with me? You know? Never, did you buy new or used? Didn't you buy new? I do believe there is something to that effect, Wesley, which is why my wife has been wanting to buy a house for a while, and I'm like, maybe you'll buy one in Ecuador. We can get one in Ecuador. You can buy one wherever you want, but like, you know, do I want to be there? We gotta have an agreement, you know. And usually the way that it works, I've said this before, is she gets gung-ho on an idea like, oh, let's get a place in Chiang Mai. And I point out the negatives. I'm like, burning season, pollution, no way. Ugh, well then where do you want to live? Somewhere where there's no air pollution. Well, where's that? You know. But why pull the trigger on something if you're not sure? We could have lived in our village. I talked about this, and I still have that video. I should put that video up. I have the video of the place. And it was like $99,000. Yeah, 3 million, not even 3 million baht. It's like 2.9 million baht. And the place was nice. It's a couple doors down from where we live now. It was very nice. But I was like, really? Do we want this? Do we really want to be like stuck here, beholden to this? But no, we don't. My old lady likes to travel, man. She does like to travel. I'll tell you that. I'll give her that. She's Pechaboon's okay, but she's she definitely likes to travel. And you know, she's the one who's told me, maybe we should get a car so we can drive around Thailand and you can like do videos on the go. And I'm like, yeah, maybe. Motorbike. I've thought about a car, and I've thought about a motorbike, and I've thought about a house for about 10 years. And we just money, motorcycle. Do I need a motorcycle? Nah, not really. And I guess, you know, do I spend more than, like, if I bought a motorbike? When I came over, motorbikes were 50,000 baht. Now they're 100,000 plus, which, you know, it's still not that much, but, like, I think about, do I really want a motorbike? It means everywhere I go, I gotta park. It means I have to think about driving everywhere, spending the time focused behind. I don't want to focus my attention on the road. I'd rather have somebody else drive me and focus their attention on the road. And they're doing it all the time, like a taxi driver, a motorbike driver. That's what they do. They do it every day, all day long. That's all they do. And then if they crash, it's not my fault. I'm not going to be stuck paying $1 million baht fine or bill, or have to pay somebody's hospital bill. Not me, sorry, I wasn't driving. I was just sitting in the back, minding my own business. That driver's a contractor, subcontractor. Would I live in Samui? I don't know. It's a beautiful place, but it is an island, and it is a little bit more expensive to get there. I actually was talking about Krabi, going to Krabi in a couple of weeks. And one of the reasons is because you can go there for go there and come back, fly to and from Krabi Airport, and it's about maybe 3,000 baht. That's pretty cheap. You can also take a train, but that's going to cost you just a little bit less than a flight. And so it might be good for my wife, it might be good for me, because it's affordable, and if she wants, she can be down there for full 5 days, then fly up, meet up with Nikki and Alex, maybe we both fly up, and you know, so that's something to consider. When you did that hand and arm gesture, imagine you were saying cough, cough again. Your head is in places where my mind just does not go. I love motorbike for general around town things. Parking downtown sucks. I take the truck for shopping and buying home improvement stuff. Well, that's what trucks are for. The home improvement stuff, moving and all that kind of thing. As far as the motorbike goes, you know, I've driven motorbikes here and used them to carry my groceries and stuff like that. But for me, it's so easy to get around. And like I keep saying, once that SkyTrain is done, it's going to be so much easier to get around. I went and saw, Andy and Dowlow the other day, and I had to take I took a motorbike to the boat to the CityLink to BTS, and then BTS to where I got off and met with Andy and Dowlow. If I was going the route using the yellow line would connect up to the Sukhumvit line, boom, I'm right there. Simple. I take a Songtao, I take a motorbike to the MRT, take me 2 minutes to get there, jump, or the BTS, that is that MRT actually, it's the MRT monorail. I jump on there, and hey, what's up, man? Little boy. Hi. He's waving. That kid's a handful. He's been running around all over this place. My buddy who lives in Chiang Mai moved his family to Samui this time of year because of the air quality. Yeah. There are positives and negatives to every place. I don't know about Samui as a place to live, Which stream? During that stream. Which stream are you talking about? You've lost me. Oh, wait a minute. That's not what I want. All right, so let me see if I can do something one more time here. That's that. Let's see here if I can copy this for you guys. Let me see here. There you go. And one more time, let's see here. Here you go. That is where we are right now, where I'm getting ready to leave. Stream is almost over. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me. I think it's important that if you are planning on coming over here, listen with your ears. Listen to the old veterans. You don't have to listen just to me. Listen to the guys who know. Listen to guys who've been coming here for a long time, who actually know what it's like to stay here for more than a week or two. Listen and think before you make the move. And, that's the thing. Jono was married to a Thai woman. He'd been to Thailand. He knew. It was just a matter of, is it going to change by the time he's ready to retire? Is he going to have enough kind of money? Blah, 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 blah. So he was ready when he came here. I see guys who come here on a whim and a prayer. Is that what it is? A whim and a prayer or a wing and a prayer? Oh, that's right, Johnny. You're putting together the house. When's that supposed to be completed? What kind of beer? 2/4 Asian me as I was having a few beers. Well, one thing I would like to do is to do a live stream as I'm sucking down a Guinness, a frothy Guinness in Dublin. I'll be going to Tuddy Tud and Tud. Oh man, something smells good here. Somebody just got some food. It's wafting over in my direction, and it's very, very good. Anyway, all right. So now you got the information there. I will put the information down. I will put the information in the description so you know where this place is. And I will have the address and everything else. In fact, I just put the name of the place right now, and I can put the link up. You know, I could be a pretty filthy, vulgar dude. But you know what? You take the cake, 2Q Asia. You are the filthiest. And I have cleaned up my act. What about you? Are you ever going to clean up your act? The thing is I'm preparing because I have to go in front of my mother. And if I start dropping a bunch of F-bombs, I'll never hear the end of it, and I will get a tongue lashing, so to speak. I will have problems. The house is on hold due to shortages for so-called few weeks. The next stage is frame and roof. Actually, my parents told me they were having some stuff done at their house. The roof was one thing. They had to have their roof redone, and they needed some new dishwasher. They needed a couple of things, a freezer. There were shortages. They couldn't get anything, and like with the wood for the roof, the prices were too high. They were like triple the price up until recently. What's weird is I'm never vulgar except here. You boy, my D. I don't know, is he a boy? He's old man, my D. Old man, my D. Conque, my D. Anyway. Hope you guys had fun. Man, I can't tell you how like when I get done here, basically am I going to the mall I gotta get one or two things from the grocery. And then when I get home, I start researching stuff. And I should edit some of the Chiang Mai videos. But I am gonna start researching, I've already started researching the trip in Dublin, trip in Lisbon, and then I've been talking to my mother about possible things we're gonna do back in the States, and then as soon as my buddy has some spare time, I'll talk to him about Ecuador. So it should be and then there's Amsterdam still, and you know where I'm going in Amsterdam. I'm gonna go have a nice hot chocolate. That's where I'm going. I'm going to a cafe. So that should be fun. I don't think they take kindly to filming inside of a cafe there, but I don't know. We'll see. That's what it's all about. Life's an adventure. Live it, baby. You know? And this place, yeah, they're oh, he's having some, they got Thai food. They have some nice Thai food here. He's having some fried pork with rice and an egg on top. So gai tod and gai tod kai dao. This looks like the other guy's having the same thing. Yeah, I've been to Amsterdam many times. I've been all over the Netherlands. I don't think we're going to be going all over the Netherlands on this trip because we don't have much time. It's just a long layover. But there's plenty of time to go out and about and walk around and go into some cafes and go into some cool places and walk along the canals and take photo, you know. So it's going to be the thing that I'm really looking forward to. All right, I'm going to close with this. The thing that I'm really looking forward to. You know, my wife's been around a little bit now. She's been to, I don't know, 6, 7 countries, maybe 10, I don't know. I haven't added them up. I've been to about 60. The kids have been to, Alex has been to 4 or 5, Nicholas has been to 2 or 3. I'm looking forward to seeing, first, if my wife is impressed by any one place. That says a lot, because, you know, she's a woman. She's not all that impressed all that easily. And then the kids, because they're going to be going from Thai culture to, wow. Well, I had a 170 milligram brownie last night, and yeah, it's good. Not really. But I felt I should one-up you, because 5 milligrams is nothing. That's nothing. Come on. Anyway, and then they'll be going to United Arab Emirates. Granted, you're only in the airport, but it is a different place. It's going to be a different kind of an airport. I've been there. It's a great airport. Then you're going to Ireland. They're going to see the Irish. Oh, wow. Look at the Irish. Have a Guinness. Put another shrimp on the bar. Oh, that's Australia. Then you go to Lisbon. That's very, very different from Amsterdam. Then to the States. Grandma, Grandpa. They're gonna love that. Grandma, Grandpa food. My mother already said she's gonna make some stew with Guinness. I know she'll probably make some lasagna, some mahi-mahi, some crab cakes. Good stuff. And then, still made me dizzy, also had 50 milligram CBD. I don't know, I've never had CBD. I don't know about that. Yeah, I keep saying, it doesn't really do a whole lot for me. I wish that, if I took one little gummy or something and I chewed it up, it would knock me out and I would be like out for 10 hours. I wish I could do that, but it doesn't work that way. Anyway, and then from there, of course, going to Ecuador, which having my buddy there, my buddy Ted, who knows my kids from when they were babies, but has never met them. He hasn't been back to Thailand in many years. We haven't seen him in many years, other than online. And while he knows my kids are grown up, it'll be interesting to hang out with him, with them, and with the wife. And the wife has met him when we first got together. And so that's, and that with in Ecuadorian culture, and then, writing down all the pros and cons of being there and what could we do and blah, blah, blah. Hey, I'm Scott. I'm an American. I'm an American in Manta, Ecuador. I'm in, what is it? What's the place down, Amalfa? Is it Amalfa? Yeah, the Amalfa Coast. We're down in the Amalfa Coast of Portugal. I'm Scott, and I'm an American in Lisbon. I'm Scott, I'm an American in Amalfa. Sounds kind of different. Doesn't have the same ring as I'm an American in Bangkok, but that's the way it goes. Anyway, all right, so we're done. End of story. Stream has run its course. Thank you. Click, click, click. Check, check, check. Look down below. Get yourself a American in Bangkok shirt or a Captain Savaho shirt or whatever it might be. Check down the description. Keep on watching, and I'll see you guys later. Until next time, I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok, currently in Bangkok. Chok Di Leo Jerkan Mai. It's good luck, and see you later.